Nope, we're live, pal.
We're live. This is so exciting. Hey, everybody. We are here to Hidden Gems. This is one of our live episodes because I was traveling this week, so it just made sense to do a live episode on Friday. And today we are doing one of our preview episodes we've been doing the last few months. And we are previewing these all the streaming services for September and October. As far as movies, we aren't covering any shows this time, but we've got quite a few to cover. And if you know of any others, please let us know in the chat room, which is open, and you can add your comments about what you're excited for, what level of excitement score you'd give the things that we're talking about, the movies that we're talking about. So make sure to put that in the chat room. We also have the super chat if you feel so inclined. That would be amazing. And I am film critic Rachel Wagner. Ryan is here.
Hey, Rachel, it's great to be back with you as always. It's good to see you safe return from Texas. And from the pictures I saw, it looked like you had a lot of fun,
Oh,
which that sounds really cool.
it was so fun. We had a great time just being together, and it just was so nice to get to see my friends. And you never know when you get together with people that you just know online how it'll go, and it went incredible. In fact, most of the time all the time actually, I've had really great experiences. So I don't know why I say that, but when you just there's always that little bit of like, what's it going to be like? Is it going to be great? And it usually is. And so this was no exception. It was great, a great trip. And so, yeah, did you have a fun weekend? Do anything fun?
Just mostly here. Did a lot of work. It was a stressful couple days. I won't go too deep into details because it's honestly kind of dark. But
Mhm.
when your job is helping the homeless and trying to get them back on their feet, it comes with a lot of baggage. Again, I
Yeah.
won't go too deep into the details because this is a fun show after all. But let's just say that my job sets me straight. It keeps me grateful for the things that I have and just to be very happy that I am in the situation that I am and just other things like that. Just
Yeah. Well, that's, I think, shows you're doing something meaningful when you have moments like that as well. So, yes, we are previewing September and October releases for streaming. Of course, there could be lots added because things are changing. It seems like every day. Things are, we just had Hotel Transylvania that's added. We don't know Hotel Transylvania 4. We don't know what date that's going to be. We also have Muppet Haunted Mansion, which is just labeled as this fall. So whatever that will be. But there could be a lot added, different things, like I said. But we have quite a few films to talk about, and it's going to be pretty fun. So let's dive in. Let's talk about it. And the first one that we're talking about is called Afterlife of the Party. And this is on Netflix. And it is one that I have actually seen. I just watched it, finished watching it today. And this is a story about a it's two girls who are lifelong friends, and they start to have kind of differences of opinions about things, about how much you should party, whether you should stay at home and do puzzles and all of that. One day the lead character Cassie, she ends up hitting her head on the floor, and she dies, and she comes back to life to try to help her friend set things right. And this stars Victoria Justice and Midori Francis, and we've seen a lot of this kind of film before, like Heaven Can Wait and I don't know, those kinds of films. But I actually thought this was pretty cute. I enjoyed it. I think that almost wish it had just been a cute romance about the Midori Francis character. Her name's Lisa, because I love her. She was in Dash and Lily, and she was so delightful in that show. And I liked her little romance that she had with Spencer Sutherland. This is the actor's name, and he was very dreamy. And I liked their romance. It was really cute. And I almost didn't even need the friend, the friend helping her out, guardian angel kind of a thing. But it was cute enough, and I enjoyed it for what it is. Nice to have a story about female friendship. What did you think of the trailer?
I liked it. I thought it was intriguing.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of reminded me of the Twilight Zone episode One for the Angels, where Death visits a man named Mr. Bookman, a street pitchman, and tells him, "Hey, you're going to die at the end of the night, so settle your affairs now." And it reminded me strongly of that. However, I remember watching Victoria Justice on the show, I believe it was Victorious on Nickelodeon. So seeing her, I was like, wow, like she's like in other things now. That's cool to see. So I'm thinking that I might want to check this out.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like a movie of the week. It feels like something you'd see on Lifetime Channel more than Hallmark, but it's cute. And I think the performances really elevate it, make it work. So I would give it like I don't know, like a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it. Then we have, and what your excitement level 1 to 5, what would you say?
I'd say a 3. I think I've seen a story like this before, and I think I know how it's going to end. However, I did love Victoria Justice, like, and her show growing up. So I think just for the nostalgia factor, it's given me a little boost in the I want to see it department.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so let's see, I'm going to sort this by network instead of. Okay, so then next on Netflix, we have the movie Worth. And this is a movie that I actually saw at Sundance 2020. So this was last year that I saw this movie. But let's see, let me find the little summary. So I've already seen it. It is about lawyer Kenneth Feinberg, who handled the mess that was the 9/11 victims and survivors compensation fund. And what do you think of this trailer?
You know, when I read the title for this, I'm like, Worth. I'm like, this could be like a million different things. And just for context sake, I watched all of these trailers doing my walk this morning. And when this trailer started, I'm like, Michael Keaton on a train. What is this? And then September 11th, 2001. I'm like, what is this? And then it explains the plot of the 9/11 compensation fund and that whole thing. Then Stanley Tucci with hair, which will never not be weird to me, shows up, and Keaton and Tucci are having a war of words. Just for that alone, seeing those two guys there, I am hyped for this movie. I think it looks fantastic. I love these historic movies of, you think you know this bigger story, however, there's a smaller story in there that's just as fascinating, if not more so. That's why I love Argo so much. Like, it's a movie, in a sense, about the Iranian hostage crisis. However, there's a small story of the 6 Americans getting out of the Canadian embassy by under the guise of making a fake sci-fi movie. So I'm hyped to see Worth. It looks really good.
Yeah, I think that I wouldn't say you shouldn't see it. I think the one weird part about it for me was just that I had a harder time getting invested in his story because I just kept feeling like the whole time that he was the least interesting person in almost every scene. That I wish that it had been about Stanley Tucci's character or about the other victims' characters, or I don't know. I just had a hard time getting invested in this like lawyer that was like doing this. That was my problem kind of with the movie. And I mean, granted, I saw it on a day where I saw like 4 or 5 Sundance movies, and those days are really intense. But yeah, that was my only kind of thing that didn't quite work for me about it. Was just like, should we be telling? It was like, is this interesting enough, like, of a story to tell? If that makes sense.
Yeah, it seems like Michael Keaton's character is a bit of a snob. Like, he sees all these people who have just gone through a horrible experience as just numbers on an Excel spreadsheet, and
Yeah.
it just and I think that was the idea of he's going to go through the arc of okay, he's going to be here, and then by the end he's going to be a completely different person, and that's fine. But I love Michael Keaton so much, and Stanley Tucci can do no wrong in my eyes. So
Yeah.
I think I'm going to watch this anyway.
Yeah. Oh no, you definitely should. And it's on Netflix. What do you have to lose? All right. So what would you give it for your score?
I trust your opinion, so I'm going to knock it down to a 4 when I was going to go for a 5. I trust your opinion, so I'll give myself a little bit of a caution. However, I love most, if not all, the actors here, so I'm still excited.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, so then we have On the Verge, and this I actually didn't realize is a series. I thought it was a movie. After we put these together, but nevertheless, we can talk about it. It is a series that about 4 women, a chef, a single mom, an heiress, and a job seeker dig into love and work with a generous side of midlife crisis in pre-pandemic LA. And this stars Julie Delpy in the lead and has Elizabeth Shue in it. And it looked, I thought, pretty good from the trailer, and I like Julie Delpy. So I don't know. What did you think of this?
I like the actresses here, but I don't think this one really grabbed me. Maybe it's because like it's really not for my demographic, but I'm really not interested in like these mid-40s women just being like what do we do with our lives now? And one of them has the cliche of, oh, our kids were small, now they're not, and I wish I could go back. Oh, like, kids get older, that's how it works. And it's like, I don't know, it just, I like the actresses here, but I just give this one a bit of a shrug.
The thing that makes me nervous is that Netflix had a movie called Otherhood that had a great cast in it with Patricia Arquette and Angela Bassett and Felicity Huffman, very talented actresses, and it was terrible. I hated it. It was awful.
Like,
it was just all of these women were just so. I hated them all, and
like it was on a new level. That level was called the basement.
Yeah, they were just all super smothers of their kids, and even though their kids were grown men, I don't know, I really disliked it. And whoever dressed Patricia Arquette in that movie has some kind of vendetta against her. She looked so bad. Everything, nothing fit. It was all just not flattering. It was so bad. But
and Patricia Arquette is a beautiful woman. Let's not.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It was just the costumes were so bad. And so this did give me some of that vibe, which makes me a little nervous, but we'll see. I actually did like book club, and most people didn't, but I enjoyed it. So maybe if you've got that kind of vibe.
You know, a bit of a side story. When I was working at my local movie theater, book club was out. And I honestly did not think that movie would be as successful as it was. Legit, like the opening Saturday and Sunday, it was all full of like these older people, and it was sold out. Like the 12 Saturday show and like the 2 afterwards, you couldn't get another person in there with Vaseline. And then I believe I can't remember his name is Jeff. Jeff, who was the usher that day, went in to go check the theater to check the AC, sound, make sure everything's okay, check the emergency door, goes in, checks the door, comes back out. He comes back to me. I'm at concessions, and I'm like, it's pretty busy in there, huh? And Jeff is like, oh, yeah, if you go to the top and look down, it's like you're seeing a field of cotton. And it was like the funniest thing. And I was laughing my head off considering all these older people with their white hair. It's just like, it was great. I miss Jeff.
All right. So then on the 9th, we have Blood Brothers, Malcolm X, and Muhammad Ali. This documentary, obviously, coming to Netflix about Malcolm X and Muhammad Ali, who are both members of the Nation of Islam for periods. Malcolm X left the faith after a while. What do you think about this? Do you think it looks interesting?
Yeah, this looks really, really fascinating. And I've actually read the autobiography of Malcolm X, and talk about a man who was just so fascinating. Like if you just hear him speak on like the Dick Cavett show, or if just in a general like speech that he gives, he's so eloquent, and he commands a room. He really does. And in terms of his social standings, he was a bit of ahead of his time in certain areas. And then combine that with Muhammad Ali, we all know who he is. Greatest boxer of all time, heavyweight champion, all of that. Like I'm excited to see what Netflix is gonna do with this. Like because just from the trailer alone, it looks like they're gonna cover when Ali comes back from the Olympics, he joins the nation, then the two meet, and it's like as their friendship grows, Malcolm X begins to disassociate from the nation while Muhammad Ali kind of steers into it. It's going to be really fascinating to see what story they tell there. And so I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I agree. Me too. I absolutely love that autobiography. I think it is one of the most fascinating books I've ever read. And it's a long book, but I was totally engrossed when I read it. I mean, it's been many years, but I loved that book so much. It was so interesting. And so I will watch anything about Malcolm X, because I just think he is a very misunderstood and fascinating person.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'd give this a 5. I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Yeah, 5 as well. And with this and Judas and the Black Messiah, it feels like nowadays we're getting more of these stories about like the Black Panthers and with Summer of Soul to a certain extent. Mm-hmm. And with this, it feels like we're getting more Black stories. And
One Night in Miami.
One Night in Miami as well. These smaller Black historic stories that I would have never learned in any other context. So I only see that as a good thing.
For sure. Okay, next we have the movie Kate. And this comes out on the 10th. And this is by the director of Atomic Blonde. And it's after she's irreversibly poisoned, a ruthless criminal operative has less than 24 hours to exact revenge on her enemies, and in the process forms an unexpected bond with the daughter of one of her past victims. And this stars Mary Elizabeth Winstead, Woody Harrelson, Mikhail Huzman. And what did you think of this trailer?
It looked interesting. It kind of reminded me of this Jason Statham movie Crank, where he's got to charge up his heart with electricity every now and again. But I like how this movie looks, and I like the premise of Kate being poisoned and having a set amount of time to get her business done before she dies. I like that. It gives the movie a timetable. It doesn't have time to screw around. It's like you got to get in, you got to get out. I like that. I like the spirit of that.
Yeah, and it's not very long. It's well under 2 hours, which is nice. These kind of action movies tend to be a little long in the tooth.
Yeah, and I also love Mary Elizabeth Winstead in anything she's in, whether it's Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Birds of Prey. She was in this smaller movie where she's married to Aaron Paul. They're both alcoholics, and one of them decides to go to Alcoholics Anonymous while the other one doesn't, and her life gets totally ruined. I can't think of the movie right now. I think if I IMDb it, it'll probably come to me. But
She was also in 10 Cloverfield Lane, which I love. I think that's
that movie's super underrated too.
It's really good. That's why you're looking that up. We can. Well, how many? What score would you give this one?
I'd give this one a 4. I think it looks promising. I mean, like I said, the Mary Elizabeth Winstead thing, Woody Harrelson, I like him in most of the things that he's in. It looks good.
Yeah, I think I'll give it a 3, just because I don't know. Usually, like these kind of hyper-violent action isn't my taste, but it looks like it's pretty well done. So while you're looking that up, let's talk about Schumacher. And this is a sports documentary about the German Formula One racing driver, Michael Schumacher. And I don't know much about racing, but I thought it looked kind of interesting. I mean, I like documentaries that we just get to learn about random people, that are interesting. And I don't know. What do you think of the trailer?
I think it looks awesome. And Michael Schumacher, I'm actually somebody who knows Smashed. That's the movie that she was in. Smashed. That's what it's called. Solves that mystery.
Yeah.
I actually watched a lot of Formula One growing up, of Formula One, NASCAR. Like, I still watch NASCAR, Formula One, not so much, but I know who Michael Schumacher is. He is comfortably among the greatest of all time, with like Ayrton Senna and the two dudes from Rush. One of them was the Englishman, and the other one was, I can't think of their names right now, but Michael Schumacher was just excellent. And this trailer's weird because for a documentary about Michael Schumacher wasn't in it. And I'm sure he's in the documentary at some point. I was like,
that's true.
And I was like, did he pass on and I didn't know? And it's like, no, he's still alive. It's a weird flex to not be in your own documentary. Like, his kids are there, his father's in there, several members of his crew when he was a full-time racer were there, but he wasn't. It was weird. But nevertheless, the F1 fan in me was like, I am all over this.
Cool. Yeah. So what would you give it? What score?
I'm going to give it a 4.5. I loved this.
Yeah. I'm going to give it a 3. I definitely am interested. So next we have Night Books, and this comes out on the 15th.
Ooh, boy. This look, I don't want to jump all over your intro, but
okay. Well, scary story fan Alex must tell a spine-tingling tale every night, or stay trapped with his new friend in a wicked witch's magical apartment forever. And this stars Kristen Ritter, Lydia Jewett, and Winslow Fegley. And Winslow Fegley won my heart as Timmy Failure. I loved Timmy Failure, Mistakes Were Made. I thought it was such a great movie, and he was so cute in that movie. And so I'm excited that he's getting more work. But yeah, so what is your verdict on this trailer?
Oh, wow. Like I said, I watched these all when I was doing my morning walk. So I was watching this at like 6 o'clock in the morning. And I was still a little out of it. I was like trying to wake up. This movie woke me up. I didn't need my coffee. When it got to the point,
good way or bad way?
In a good way.
Oh, okay.
When it got to the point of, from producer Sam Raimi, I'm like, that makes too much sense. Because Sam Raimi has made a career out of making scary, weird stuff. Evil Dead, Drag Me to Hell is like, that's his clientele. Even his Spider-Man movies are weird. They're awesome, but still weird. And I didn't think I was going to love this, but I actually did. I think this looks like Sam Raimi crossed over with like a dash of Stephen King, just a tad bit of Evil Dead, and like Hocus Pocus and something wicked this way comes. Like this looked just fascinating and fantastic to me.
Yeah, I haven't been a big fan of a lot of these YA adaptations, and I'm not that big of a fantasy person, but I do agree that I thought the visual style of it looked really interesting and very well done. And the whole idea of it being kind of scary stories sounds fun to me. And at first I thought, oh, this has to be R.L. Stine, but I guess it's not. It looked kind of like that to me.
Yeah, and this was directed by David Yarovsky, who directed the movie Brightburn, which I thought was super underrated.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye out for this one. And this movie also stars Kristen Ritter, who was Jessica Jones and was Jane in my favorite TV show, Breaking Bad. So I have like 99 reasons to go check this movie out.
So what score would you give it?
Big old 5.
A big old 5. I think I will give it a 3.5. All right. So next we have My Little Pony: A New Generation. And this is not part of Friendship is Magic. This is a new crew. So we're not going to be seeing Twilight Sparkle or any of the maybe they might have cameos, but we're not going to see the main crew.
Will we see Picard? 5. Will we see Picard, Data, or Wart?
Probably not.
See what I did there? Because New Generation.
Right. Very good. So this will be on the 24th. And I do think that even though I love the style of Friendship is Magic, I do think that this style that they have, the CG style, is very cute. And I think they did a good job with the character designs and the world building and everything like that. This is obviously for little kids. It'll be interesting to see if it has sort of the brony effect as Friendship is Magic did, or if it won't carry over. But what did you think of this trailer?
I'm sure for the people who like this stuff, it will be great, but I've never really been into this kind of thing. I'm not going to trash it. I'm not going to be like, oh, this is crap. Who would want to watch this? Like, I understand that there is a genuine fan base for this, and I think there's much dumping on fan bases, especially over the past couple of years, so I'm not going to play any part in it. Mm-hmm. I will say it's not for me. However, the people who are into this will definitely like it, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I don't know. I just thought that, do you agree that the character designs are pretty cute?
I love the animation. I thought that was actually very well done. I like how all the ponies have like their own hairdos. Like one has like the faux hawk going on. I actually quite enjoyed that.
Yeah, so it'll be fun for the kids, and it'll be interesting to see if that brony group joins in on this new style and new franchise. So next we have a movie called The Starling, and this stars Melissa McCarthy, Kevin Kline, Chris O'Dowd, Timothy Olyphant. And a woman adjusting to life after loss contends with a feisty bird that's taken over her garden and a husband who's struggling to find a way forward. So Chris O'Dowd plays the husband, and Kevin Kline is the therapist. What do you think of this trailer?
I was not prepared for what this trailer was all about, because I was going to this like, Melissa McCarthy, Netflix. This is not good. Because, Thunder Force earlier this year. Oh, man. But then when I learned what this movie was about, I was like, wow. Like, I did not expect that they were ever going to make a movie about this. But sure enough, they're doing it. And I actually like Melissa McCarthy. She's made a lot of bad movies. Let's not get that twisted. But when she's given the right material, I think she can be genuinely good. This is definitely the right material. She's not making these jokes or being awkward or yelling. She's a person, and that's all that I really want her to be.
Well, and don't forget, it wasn't that long ago that she was nominated for an Oscar for her dramatic work. She's been nominated for comedic work, but she was also nominated for her dramatic work in
Can You Ever Forgive Me? Yes.
So she has the chops to do it.
And I love Kevin Kline. I go out of my way to watch anything that he is in. So I think I will check this out because I won't go into details, but I know someone that I worked with who suffered through what this movie deals with, and she went on to recover, and she's having a second one coming up, having a
Mhm.
second child. So it's all well and good there, but it's rough. It really is, and I have a
Yeah.
feeling that this is going to be a rough movie to watch. However, I feel like it'll be a weirdly necessary one at the same time.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, and I love Chris O'Dowd, but he does seem like a little bit of a weird fit. Like, I don't know why. I don't really see them as a couple for some reason. It'll be interesting to see how it does. I mean, I absolutely loved him in the movie Juliet Naked. I thought he was so great in that. That's an underrated film. But that was the only thing of the trailer that I was kind of like, I don't know if I see them as a couple. But anyway, I agree. I think it's definitely has potential. So I think I will give it a 4.5.
I'm just going to give it a solid 4.
Okay, good. All right. Next, we have Sounds Like Love, and this is actually a Spanish film. And it is just as Maca's career reaches an inflection point, the enigmatic ex who broke her heart reappears in Madrid, and she turns to her friends for support. So I thought this looked really cute. I enjoyed it. I really liked the trailer, and it's fun to see rom-coms from other cultures. And this is from Spain, and I don't know. I just thought it looked charming. What did you think?
I thought this looked okay. I'm thinking if I watch it, I might like it, but on the whole, I thought it was just fine. I think fans of this, like you, are probably gonna love it.
hmm So, what would you give it? What score?
I'll give it a solid 3. I think as a genre film, I think it'll work.
hmm Yeah, I will give it a 4. I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be cute. All right, next we have The Guilty. And this is a troubled police detective demoted to 911 operator duty. Sorry, let me read that again. Troubled police detective demoted to 911 operator duty scrambles to save a distressed caller during a harrowing day of revelations and reckonings. Jake Gyllenhaal stars in Antoine Fuqua's thriller. So, what do you think of this one?
Well, I was only able to watch the teaser trailer, and I think
Yeah.
that was the only thing of it. But just from that alone, I was kind of hooked because Jake Gyllenhaal is subtly one of the better actors going. Like every movie I've seen him in, okay, maybe minus Prince of Persia, he's in has been great. And I actually like Antoine Fuqua as a director, so I think this could be a sleeper hit.
It also has Paul Dano, Riley Keough, and Peter Sarsgaard in it. So that's a strong supporting cast as well. It does kind of remind me in plot of the Halle Berry, The Call, which wasn't
I was thinking that when I was listening to this, I was like, this kind of reminds me of that Halle Berry movie, The Call. And
her bad hair, her bad hair movie.
yeah,
I am intrigued by it. It's hard to deny. I mean, yeah, we just saw that little teaser, and I'm surprised they haven't released an actual trailer, considering it's coming on the 1st of October. But I would give this a 4.
yeah, I give this a 4 as well. And to your point, if Marvel can release a Spider-Man trailer 2 months before the movie's supposed to come out,
Yeah,
I mean, trailer deadlines are meaningless
yeah.
nowadays.
Well, did you say what score you give it?
I'm gonna give it a 4.
A 4. Okay. So next one we didn't have a trailer for. It's on the 1st of October. It's called Diana, and it's very interesting. I wanted to bring it up because it is a Broadway musical filming like they did for Hamilton or Newsies or these other shows. And but the difference between this and those is that this is a brand new musical. It has never been staged. and they filmed it because it was going to be staged last year in London. And then, of course, things got canceled. So trying to get people working and stuff, they went ahead and filmed it. And so we are getting it here on Netflix. And then I believe that they're actually going to be having an actual run in London this year. So it's kind of intriguing because I don't think this has ever been done before, where we've had a new musical that is being presented like this. Usually it's favorites, that end up getting. So none of us know like any of the music. We don't. It could be total garbage. We don't know. It's also interesting that it's coming out right around the same time as you have the movie Spencer, which is with Kristen Stewart. And so here you have this musical that's filmed a stage musical, and then you have you're going to have the movie coming out. So it's all things Princess Diana right now. But yeah, I'm very excited because I love Broadway and I love musicals. So I'm very curious about it, and so I'm going to give it a 4.5. But I don't know. Does that sound interesting to you?
It is, and I was thinking about it. It was like with this and the Kristen Stewart movie coming out later this year, it's like Princess Di mania is running wild. It's like this nostalgia for her, and I don't know all that much about her. From what I have read, I am reliably informed that she was a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there is grounds to tell her story.
Yeah.
But doing a musical like this, it's kind of like Schrodinger's cat in that until you open the box, it's either alive or dead. It's
Yeah.
like until we see it, this musical is either crap or it's great.
Yeah. Well, it's true. And also, I do think it's going to struggle with it's a pretty sad story. I mean, in most Broadway musicals, there are some like Next to Normal or things like that are darker in themes, but like they have to be really careful with this because obviously it's a tragedy. I mean, she died at a very young age in a horrible accident, leaving her children without a mother. I mean, the whole country, the whole world devastated. So, and she was in an unhappy marriage, and I mean, there's a lot of sadness there. So I think they have to be careful about how they handle, especially when you're talking about such a beloved person as Diana was.
Yeah, but two of my favorite musicals of all time are Memphis and Spring Awakening, and they're both incredibly dark musicals. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't think a musical has to be specifically light and airy to be great. I mean, take a look at Les Miserables. It's one of the most beloved musicals of all time, and that's 3 hours of sadness, even though it is a beautiful story.
Yeah, I mean, I just think you're absolutely right. I just think they have to be careful. I'm just looking some
Oh, sure.
more details. This is written by does it say it on here?
While Rachel's looking, if you're all interested, check out Elton John's performance of Candle in the Wind at Princess Di's funeral. It's stirring stuff because he initially wrote that song for Marilyn Monroe. However, due to that song's release and Princess Di's death happening around the same time, it was kind of made into a Princess Di song. And I mean, Elton John he is very flamboyant, but when he actually is just like singing just like a straight up song, he's really, really good.
Oh yeah, definitely. And this it has Roe Hartranft as Prince Charles, Aaron Davey as Camilla Parker Boyles, and two-time Tony winner Judy Kay as Queen Elizabeth. And the writers I don't recognize.
At least they got someone pretty seasoned to play Princess Di, 2 Tonys. That's pretty good.
The writer Joe DePietro, book and lyrics by Joe DePietro. He did Memphis, which you just mentioned.
Well, there you go.
And let's see this other person. But I mean, I hope it's good and I hope it's a success because I would love to see more and more, this, if people like it, then we'll get more of it, which would be pretty cool. And so I don't know. I can't find this other person, but yeah, anyway, so that's the book and the book and lyrics are the same guy who did Memphis. So anyway, it's an interesting experiment, which I'm always intrigued by. So the last movie that we're going to talk about is Army of Thieves for Netflix, the last movie. This is the prequel to the
Army of the Dead.
Army of the Dead that was Zack Snyder. This is not directed by Zack Snyder, Matthias Schweighöfer, and he's the lead, or maybe not. Yeah. Let's see here. Sorry. What did you think of this trailer?
As someone who loved Army of the Dead, I thought this was just okay. I thought it was a weird flex to like do a prequel. It's like at the I won't spoil the ending of Army of the Dead, but at the end of Army of the Dead, it seemed like they were like, okay, here's where the next movie's going to go, and they were going to do a sequel. I certainly hope that a sequel is coming, but I'll certainly check this one out. But I'm not sure how to feel about this one. I'm sure I'll like it though.
Yeah, Matthias Schweighöfer is the lead. He's also the director. Natalie Emmanuel, Ruby O'Fee, and Jonathan Cohen are in the cast. And I also just thought it was kind of weird because I haven't seen Army of the Dead, but why you would have are there going to be zombies in this movie at all?
On IMDb, it said that it takes place during the early stages of the zombie apocalypse.
It just looked like a heist movie. It didn't look like a zombie movie at all to me.
See, one of the things about Army of the Dead that made it so cool is that this heist is all taking place in like seemingly the final stages of the zombie apocalypse. All the zombies are in Vegas, and you get to look at the zombies and see that they're not just they're actually almost civilized, and there's a lot to unpack and a lot of questions there. So hopefully that is not lost in Army of Thieves.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope people have fun with it. This is not for me, so I would give it a 2. But
I'll give it a 3. I'm cautiously optimistic.
Okay, we did it. We did Netflix. Let's go through. So we have Amazon, and Amazon has their new version of Cinderella coming out, which I have already seen.
Is this the one with James Corden in the mouse costume?
Yes.
And the thing?
I mean, he just voices a mouse in the movie. And then when he's turned into the what do they call it? Character.
Between this and Cats, like what is up with James Corden and him playing animals? Is it just like a thing for him?
He was in the Emoji movie too.
Oh, I forgot about that movie. Dang it.
So this version of Cinderella, I think it's really made for the like DCOM Disney Channel kind of crowd, and I can be a defender of those movies. I think they're harmless. I think this is harmless. It has some fun music. Idina Menzel is great as always, and it's kind of a weird stepmother because she's not really that mean. I mean, she's not that upset with Cinderella going to the ball, and she actually even kind of encourages it oddly, and so she's not that bad, which was a strange, interesting kind of choice. Billy Porter, people are expecting a lot of him. He is not in the movie much, and as the fairy godmother, he's barely there, but it does have some nice production and nice costumes. And I think for a certain age, they'll enjoy it. But it just felt like a movie that I have seen so many times before. I mean, not only have we had a million versions of Cinderella, which is fine, but particularly sort of this kind of story with the cover songs, because we already had Ella Enchanted, and Ella Enchanted much better and more, I don't know, just much better acting, much more charisma, better songs. And so if you want to watch a movie like this, just watch Ella Enchanted. It's basically the same. Or watch the Descendants movies. I think are better than this.
Yeah,
So,
I looked on Letterboxd, and good lord, this movie's getting trashed. And
yeah.
I just from the trailer, I didn't hate it. I just thought it was weird because
Yeah.
I think the angle they were trying to go with is they were trying to make Cinderella, like a stronger woman, and like she's not entirely helpless. She
Yeah.
has her own business, and hey, I actually think that's cool in theory, but the Cinderella story, I don't know, it just seems like some of the stakes are lost, and it just feels like I was sitting there like, okay, if she's actually being encouraged to go
Yeah.
and she has her own dressmaking business, what are the stakes? Like, why is there even a prince here? It just,
Yeah.
I don't
That
know.
part of it really fell flat. All of the, I want to make dresses more than like be a queen. I mean, come on. And it's not that you couldn't like still make dresses as a queen. I don't know. That part
I
fell
don't know.
flat.
This
It,
whole trailer was just a weird flex.
yeah. I mean, I would, if you're gonna watch it for Idina Menzel and some of the production values. If you like DComs, I think that's the kind of person who will like this. And people who are fans of Camilla, then they'll probably enjoy it. But it was not my favorite. So I give it out of 5 stars. I'd give it a 2, unfortunately. It
Yeah,
wasn't great.
yeah, I concur. I'll give it a 2. But talk about a range on Idina Menzel going from Frozen to Uncut Gems to this.
Yeah,
Like,
and I mean, and she has an original song in here. And of course, she's incredible because she's the queen.
she's Idina Menzel.
That's right. Anyway, all right. Next on Amazon, we have a movie called Voyeurs, and this is innocent curiosity turns into full-blown obsession when a young Montreal couple spy on their eccentric neighbors across the street. And this stars Sydney Sweeney, Ben Hardy, and Justice Smith is in it. What did you think of this trailer?
This trailer this trailer kind of reminded me of that movie Disturbia from 2007, directed by
Mhm.
DJ Caruso. It's essentially Rear Window, but with like mid 2000s, late 2000s aesthetics. I
Mhm.
think the movie's actually a lot better than people give it credit. But Voyeurs kind of reminded me of that movie, or Rear Window,
Mhm.
if you want to go there. Because it seems like these people are going about their lives and they look out their rear window and they're like, somebody come take a look at this. Look at this, in the words of Kevin Hart. And then just things just go downhill from there. I'm intrigued, but there's a part of me is like, if you guys were going to make Rear Window, A, why would you? And B, if you were going to do it, just steer into it. Make a Rear Window remake if you want to.
Yeah, I mean, it looked kind of cheap to me. I felt like I was watching a trailer or a promo for a Lifetime thriller, which I'm fine with, but I feel like the good Lifetime thrillers really kind of own it and lean into the camp of it. And I don't feel like, I don't know if this will entirely do that. So I think it kind of looks bad. I don't know. I'm gonna give it two out of 5.
Yeah, yeah, I'll concur with that too. It at least looks nice.
Hmm. So next we have everybody's talking about Jamie. This is again on Amazon. This will be on the 17th of September. And this is a musical. Yay. And it's about Jamie New is a 16-year-old who doesn't quite fit in. Instead of pursuing a traditional career, he dreams of becoming a drag queen. Uncertain about his future, Jamie knows one thing for sure: he's going to be a sensation. Supported by his loving mother and amazing friends, Jamie overcomes discrimination and bullying to step out of the darkness and into the spotlight. And this does feel like this year's Prom, which I moderately enjoyed. It wasn't great, but it was okay to me. And this stars Max Harwood, Leighton Williams, Sarah Lancashire. And I have heard pretty good things. I have to say that my friends who have already seen this, like in LA, New York, they liked it. It's got 86% on Rotten Tomatoes. I think it looks fun. What do you think?
I think it looks fun as well. When I saw Richard E. Grant, I'm like, if I'm going to watch this movie, it's for him because he's awesome. And when I was watching this, I was thinking to myself, wasn't this supposed to come out in theaters? I remember it, like, even during like the thick of the theater closures, it was like, oh, they're going to open eventually, and they still had the coming soon thing. And I saw this movie on there. I'm like, isn't this coming out in
And then I
theaters?
think it got purchased by Amazon. So
And I believe I remember. Forgot Prom.
comment. I forgot Prom was even a movie, to be honest.
You're talking about the Disney movie, right, from 2011?
No. Oh, no. The Prom, which was from last year on Netflix, which was a musical based on the Broadway musical about a young girl coming out and not being allowed to go to prom. I thought it was cute. It's not great, but it was cute.
But as far as this movie goes, it looks good. I would be intrigued for this.
Yeah. So I'm going to give it a 3. What about you?
Same here, 3.
All right. We have Hotel Transylvania 4, and this we don't know. We don't know. All we know is the original date was October 1st. Was when it was going to come out, and they haven't announced when it's going to. Now, since they sold it to Amazon for $100 million, holy cow! They haven't announced a new streaming date yet, so we can just assume it'll be sometime in October. It'd be stupid not to.
Yeah.
And so, what do you think about this one? It's the first one that won't have Adam Sandler.
Well, I love all of the Hotel Transylvania movies. I expected to hate the first one. And when I saw it, I was like, wow, that was much better than I thought. Same thing with 2 and with 3. And these would get continually just trashed by critics. And maybe it's the Sandler factor. And I get that to a certain extent. These Hotel Transylvania movies are funny. They're animated really good by Genndy Tartakovsky, who is secretly one of the best going today. Like, see Samurai Jack if you want proof of that. And when I saw the trailer for the 4th one, I was like, looks like the same stuff. I'm here for it. So whether it's in theaters or streaming, I'm going to be here for it.
Yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed them as well. This one will not be directed by Genndy, but he was involved with the screenplay, so with the writing. So hopefully it'll still have some of it. I think he is a producer of it, so hopefully it'll have some of his flair. But we'll see. How it is. Hopefully they haven't gone one too far. I have Ryan. He says Hotel Transylvania 4 looks better than 3. Hope it's great. I really enjoyed 3. I know Ryan did not, but I liked it. It was kind of my relax summer movie that year that I think I saw it 3 times in the theater. All right, so we finished Amazon. Let's go quickly through the rest of these. Okay, we have another on the 10th. On Apple Plus we have Come From Away, which is another filmed Broadway play, because this year just decided to be the year of musicals, which makes me so happy.
I mean, hey, that's something I can get behind.
And I've never seen this show. I have seen clips. I've seen songs. It's 7,000 people are stranded in the small town of Gander, Newfoundland, after all the flights into the U.S. are grounded on September 11th. Passengers and locals process what happened while finding hope in an unlikely and lasting bonds. The music is so good in this musical, and everything I've heard from everybody, so they say it is so charming, and so I'm really excited to see it. Super excited. This gets a 5 from me.
Yeah, this was a musical that I actually knew about, never seen, but I knew about it, and I'm just glad it's getting an adaptation of some kind. I'm gonna give it a 5 as well. I'm on the at least the story side of things because it's such a unique angle to go with, but I think there's a lot of juice in the lemon, if you will.
Yeah, yeah. And like I said, I haven't heard from anybody who didn't love it, so I'm definitely very excited about it. All right, now we're on to Disney Plus. So we have the very first is from Billie Eilish. We have Happier Than Ever: A Love Letter to Los Angeles. This is a one of those music movies. I actually kind of have missed the whole Billie Eilish thing. Like I'm just not that like I obviously have heard of her, but I haven't spent any real time of like listening to her music or anything like that. What do you think of do you like her music? Did you like this trailer?
I I like some of her music. I like "You Should See Me in a Crown." I think that's a pretty good song. I've seen that her movie "The World's a Little Blurry" is getting a lot of awards attention, or it did maybe last year. So there's that. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of all of her music because I've only listened to like one or two songs. However, she's like super young and she's doing very well for herself. So who am I to judge? And when I saw the trailer for this, I was like, isn't Happier Than Ever like a super duper sad song about like mental health and all, and you're tying it into a love letter about LA?
Hmm.
I'm sure she's going to make it work.
Yeah. So I mean, I'm just I don't know. I don't know if I'll watch this. Maybe I'll have to for the end of the year, but I give it like a 2 because
I'll
I'm
give it a I'll give it a 3. I'll be a little generous.
okay. All right, next we have Star Wars Visions, which is so exciting. This is they gave the chance for a whole bunch of different anime directors a chance to direct stories about Star Wars. 7 Japanese animation studios bring their unique perspectives to the Star Wars universe. So, what do you think about this?
Uh, when I saw this trailer, I sent out a tweet saying, "How am I just finding out about this now?" Because when I heard that Disney had purchased Star Wars, I was like, I hope they do something new with it. And the movies have been, quite frankly, disappointing for me. However, as far as like Mandalorian and hopefully Visions, in terms of the new stuff, it has been impressing me. And this trailer just it looks really, really good. I'm going to give it a 4.5. I think this is going to be the sleeper hit of the year, and it's a unique perspective on the story that we all know. That's what I wanted, and that's what we're getting.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this. 2 of these shorts are done by the Trigger Studios, who did Promare, which I loved, and they have a really cool aesthetic. And I'm just so excited for new people who don't think they like anime to get introduced to anime and realize, oh, maybe I actually do like this. Maybe this is actually good. And so I think that's going to be great. I'm very intrigued, as you are, about sort of new stories in the world of Star Wars. And so, yeah, I give it a 5. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, 5 for me as well. And speaking of Gendy Tarkovsky, but he actually directed these two Star Wars anime type movies called Star Wars Clone Wars.
Hmm.
They're secretly brilliant, and I believe they're on Disney Plus now, but for a while they weren't. And hopefully they get more attention because they're secretly excellent
Hmm.
and nobody talks about them, and it's
Yeah, I
sad.
agree. So next we have this is on the 1st of October. We have the Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales, and we don't have a trailer for this yet. We just have a poster, and it looks pretty cool. The poster, it's got a hand sticking out with a lightsaber, and it says "Rest in Pieces," and has the lightsaber in the red, and it says Star Wars Terrifying Tales. I don't know. What do you think about this?
I will always be here for Lego. Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter what property it is, I will stop and watch it. And just by the poster alone, I am intrigued by this. I hope they go like creative with it. They do something like Night of the Living Death Star or something like
Yeah,
that.
that would be
It'll
really
like
fun.
it'll like like Luke Skywalker and the Monster from Hell, or maybe not that. I mean, it is Disney
Yeah.
after all, but still go wild with it. Like if you're gonna make terrifying Lego Star Wars terrifying tales, go to the nines with it. That's my advice.
Yeah, I agree. I think it has a lot of potential. I mean, I really enjoyed um, the um, the holiday special that they did. That was really fun. So hopefully it'll be it'll be as good as that. All right. So next we have another one that we only have a poster for. This is the Muppets Haunted Mansion, and we have a poster that kind of looks like the wallpaper and the effects um, of the ride at Disneyland. And we've had like a little. There was just like a little introduction with Gonzo and what's his name? Can't remember his name. But anyway, it looks. I mean, I love Muppets. You know, I have a whole Muppet May, and so I'm excited to see something new Muppets. And yeah, I think that sounds like a really great idea. Muppets Haunted Mansion.
Yeah, similar to Legos, I will always be here for the Muppets. Doesn't matter what it is, doesn't matter how crazy it seems on paper, I will stop and watch it. And the Haunted Mansion ride at Disney World is one that I've been on and I do enjoy. And as long as they keep it away from Eddie Murphy, I think it will be fine.
Yeah, yeah. All right, we had a comment from Aaron Johnson. He says the Star Wars original trilogy, when it had its early special editions, are a lot better than some of the later cuts, including the No and the McClunky fiascos. Yeah, everyone agrees about that.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, now we're going to HBO Max. We're almost done. HBO Max on the 10th of September, we have Malignant. This is from James Wan, who is behind the Saw movies, behind the Conjuring movies, and
Aquaman.
Aquaman. And this stars Annabelle Wallace, McKenna Grace, and I don't know let me read the little thing. In this film, Madison is paralyzed by shocking visions of grisly murders, and her torment worsens as she discovers that these waking dreams are in fact terrifying realities. So, what do you think about this one?
I'm looking forward to this. I'm a big fan of James Wan. I have a lot of respect for him. Like what he and Lee Winnell did on the original Saw was just really awesome, and both have gone on to do great things in their own right. And so whenever James Wan does something new, it immediately perks my interest, especially considering that James Wan has been involved with the Conjuring universe and Aquaman, and just he's been so I guess ensconced in these bigger horror movies that when he goes back to something original, I'm immediately intrigued to see what he's going to do. And I've seen the trailer now several times in front of movies that I've seen in theaters, and I'm looking forward to this one.
Yeah, I mean, this is not really my jam. I'm not really a horror person, especially with like possession and
One
demons.
day, one day.
And demons. I I did watch Candyman. I watched Candyman, but I didn't really care for it. It was not my favorite. I didn't think it was very good in building tension or very scary. I didn't think it was. I don't know. I thought it was full of exposition. I didn't think it was well written. I didn't care for it.
You should watch the '92 version. That'll freak you out for days.
Yeah. I've heard that that's very good. Anyway, so yeah, this isn't for me, but it looks well done for what it is. So I give it a 3.
I have a 4. I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. And Ryan says Candyman was decent, but nowhere near my favorite. I didn't care for it. I gave it a 2 stars. Okay. So then we have Cry Macho. and this stars Clint Eastwood. This is on the 17th. This is a day-and-day release, I think, in the theaters. And this is a one-time rodeo star and washed-up horse breeder in 1978 takes a job from an ex-boss to bring the man's young son home and away from his alcoholic mom. Crossing rural Mexico on their back way to Texas, the unlikely pair faces an unexpectedly challenging journey during which the world-weary horseman may find his own sense of redemption through teaching the boy what it means to be a good man. So you're pretty excited about this, am I correct?
Yes, I'm a big fan of Clint Eastwood. As a filmmaker, he's in his 90s and he is still making movies at a pretty consistent rate. And not only that, 15, 17 to Paris aside, most, if not all, the movies are pretty noteworthy. I mean, Richard Jewell is fantastic. Like, Kathy Bates won an Oscar for it, deservedly so. But Paul Walter Hauser deserved an Oscar for that, but that's neither here nor there. So whenever Clint Eastwood has something new, I am immediately interested in it. And when I saw the trailer for this, I'm like, well, it's Clint doing Clint things. I'm going to be interested in it.
Mm-hmm. Well, the only thing with this trailer to me was like, didn't we already see this movie from Clint Eastwood in The Mule? It looked very similar to me. And The Mule was not the best. It was okay, I guess, but I don't think I went fresh on it. I didn't love it. I haven't seen 15, 17 to Paris. I was very disappointed in his Jersey Boys. That was not the movie that musical deserved. It was not great. I did like Sully. I liked American Sniper. I liked Richard Jewell. So he's been a bit hit and miss. I love Gran Torino. I think that is hilarious and great and thoughtful. And I love Gran Torino. So he's had some hits and misses lately. But I don't know. That was my big thing. I was like, this just looks like what we already got.
Well, I'm going to give it a 4.5. Eastwood's one of the all-time greats.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to give this a 2.5 for me. But who knows? I mean, I love him when he's on his game. There's absolutely no question. So it hopefully will be great. Okay, then we have the Many Saints of Newark. And we got a comment. Here's from Aaron Johnson. Clint Eastwood has some rather interesting choices of films. I like his westerns and his cop movies, but a positive standout is when he was in comedies like City Heat and Every Which Way But Loose.
I love Every Which Way But Loose. That and Any Which Way You Can. I love both of those movies. It's Clint Eastwood and an orangutan, and I love it.
I never heard of it.
Oh, they're awesome.
Really?
Basically, in Every Which Way But Loose, Clint Eastwood is a bare knuckle fighter who goes from fight to fight, and he lives with his mom, played by Ruth Gordon, and his, I want to say, brother / friend. It's never really defined, but in the movie is also Eastwood's then wife, Sandra Locke, and that's all fun. Then in the sequel, it's the same thing, but it's building up to a big fight between Clint Eastwood's character and this other really big fighter, and it's like these big coastal elite types really want this to happen, but the two fighters are like, why do I want to fight him again? And the fight at the end is just brilliant. It's like, I've seen worse fight scenes this year in it than in a movie Any Which Way You Can, starring Clint Eastwood and an orangutan. So that really says something.
Interesting. Okay, we have two more. On the 1st of October, we have The Many Saints of Newark. This is a prequel to The Sopranos. And I don't know if you watched The Sopranos. What did you think of the trailer?
Well, my mom's been breathing down my neck to watch The Sopranos with me because she watched it and loved it. But the thing about this movie is that every time I see Michael Gandolfini, and I know that James Gandolfini was his father, every time I see him, I'm like, they just got young James Gandolfini. He looks so much like his dad. It's uncanny. It really is. And I hope that this is one of those movies that you don't really need to know about the Sopranos lore in order to get what's going on. because I think that's the angle they're going to take, and I hope that they do go there. What's her name who plays Lorraine Warren in the Conjuring movies? I can't remember.
From Vera Farmiga.
There you go. She's in this. I just listened to The Punisher.
Ray Liotta, John Barenthal, Billy
Yeah,
Madison.
And Ray Liotta it's a cosmic law that Ray Liotta has to be in every gangster movie ever made.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not really a big fan of gangster movies. I haven't watched The Sopranos. This is not made for me, which is fine, but it looked quality to me. I'd give it a 3.
I'm going to give it a 4. I think it looks really good.
All right, last movie we have is on the 22nd of October. We have Dune.
Rachel's most anticipated movie of the year.
Yes. And this is going to be, I think, a day-and-date release. You can watch it on HBO Max, or you can watch it in the theater. And this is based on the classic sci-fi novel. And it's Paul Atreides, a brilliant and gifted young man born into the great destiny beyond his understanding, must travel to the most dangerous planet in the universe to ensure the future of his family and his people. As malevolent forces explode into conflict over the planet's exclusive supply of the most precious resource in existence, only those who can conquer their own fear will survive. Of course, this is by director Denis Villeneuve. Stars Timothée Chalamet, Zendaya, Rebecca Ferguson, Jason Momoa, Oscar Isaac, Dave Bautista, and the list goes on. So I'll just say, I'm not excited about this movie because I hate the book. I think it is such a boring book of people talking about spices and spice trading and philosophy and what makes a great life. And I don't know. It is dull, dull, dull. I had a hard time even finishing it. Everybody in my book club hated it.
Fear is the mind killer, Rachel.
And it's so much that special element that they have the planet's precious resource is the spice, and there's so much in the book about spice trading and spice and the spices, and so I don't know. I just can't be excited because I hated the book, and we'll see. Maybe they won't be that accurate to the book, and so then it will be good. But it's not for me. I have given it a 2.
Well, I actually recently rewatched the 1984 movie. I did a whole video about it. Check it out on my channel. And it's not a perfect movie, but it's in many ways it is way ahead of its time, and I really did enjoy it. So I am looking forward to this, especially because it's directed by my boy Denis. Like, in my opinion, he has yet to do a really bad movie. Thank you, Ryan's channel. Denis Villeneuve does rock. He is one of the best going today. I mean, Blade Runner 2049, Arrival, Sicario, Prisoners. I actually watched a scene from Prisoners. I'm going to be rewatching the movie because I'm going to be reviewing it, but I was watching the scene where Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal are in the car and they're arguing, and it's like, oh, it's just so good. It's so well done. The reactions have been coming from the festivals, and I know that people are like, it's overhyped from the festivals. I don't care. Like, I've been reading them and I'm like, these are so good, and they are so good for my health. I'm giving this a 5. I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to this movie. I'm hoping it's in my top 5.
So Ryan says, I'm sure bad books have been turned into great films before.
Absolutely. Jaws is a book, yeah. But I mean, Jaws by Spielberg is one of the all-time greats. So
yeah, fair. But people love this book, so I don't think it's one that they're gonna want to change all that much. It just wasn't for me. It wasn't for anybody in my book club. Except for one girl who suggested it. We were all like, why did you suggest we read this book? This is so
I do understand why people wouldn't like this, especially in like the 84 movie. It's a pretty inaccessible movie to get into.
Yeah,
however, I must have just been in like the right frame of mind.
You like sci-fi. I don't.
That is true. Yes. And and for all its flaws, I do really enjoy the 84 version, and hopefully Denis does it justice with the remake, because if he's proven anything, it's that he can take a bit of an inaccessible sci-fi movie in Blade Runner and make Blade Runner 2049. Hopefully he can do the same thing here.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that makes me nervous about him is that he tends to have somewhat belabored pacing in his movies, and that is a recipe for problems with Dune, because it is already very slow. So I'm expecting a movie that is slow. That's a slow burn. That doesn't mean this could totally win me over. I am going to be open-minded, and hopefully it'll be good. But I have to say, people need to manage their expectations, because if you're expecting this to be the next Lord of the Rings, you are going to be disappointed. It is not that. That is not Dune. Dune is a philosophic, thoughtful, science fiction movie. I mean, I think you should have maybe Blade Runner in your mind as something at least like tonally kind of more consistent. It is not Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, and I will go on record. Let's pretend there's a Bible here. I will go on record saying that if Dune is bad, I will own it and say that Dune is bad. But I don't think it will be, and I'm really looking forward to it.
I hope it's good. I really do. And it's basically Blade Runner in the desert. That is accurate. Well done.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Talking about spices a lot. Anyway, yeah, we'll see. I hope it's good. I really do, especially for everybody who's looking forward to it so much. And there's nothing that I would love more than to end up with Dune on my top 10 of the year list, because it ended up hugely surprising me. But we'll see. So there we go. We covered everything on all of the networks, and so we got Amazon, Apple, Disney Plus, HBO Max, Netflix, a lot of Netflix. So we did it. Let us know what you think and what you're looking forward to. If we missed anything, what you're excited for on the streaming services in the comments section. And Ryan, where can people find you?
They can find me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd at RyanCam20. Then there's, of course, my YouTube channel, which is just called RyanCam. The day before yesterday, I released my first reaction to The Secret World of Arrietty. That got delayed because of my allergies. However, I'm feeling 1,000 times better, and so that video dropped. I'll be uploading my review for Shang-Chi. I'll be seeing that hopefully tomorrow. And then also Saturday will be the Movie Nerds Club. I'll be uploading my video as well as Rachel. This month is going to be our top 5 People's Choice Award winners at TIFF. And so I'm looking forward to your list, Rachel, and everyone else's in our group. And then on Sunday, I'll be reviewing the David Mackenzie film Hell or High Water. I think it's excellent, and it's a lot better than people remember. So that'll be coming this Sunday. So if you all haven't checked me out, please do.
Yeah, I love that movie. It's one of my favorite recent Oscar nominees. And so you can find me at Rachel's Reviews, all over social media, iTunes, YouTube, and on Rotten Tomatoes. So please check that out. Also, make sure you check out the Hallmarkies podcast. Got lots of great stuff going on over there. And we're gearing up, getting ready for the Christmas preview season in
all
October.
10 million of them.
So look forward to that and check it out. And make sure you check out the Patreon group and also the merch store. We have lots of good stuff going on over there. Please take a look. It really helps a lot to support the channel and support what we do. I would really appreciate it. And yeah, please like this video. Please subscribe to the channel. Check out Ryan's channel. And we'll talk to you all later. Bye, everyone.
Bye.